you go. Hi, everyone. Okay, mute this. Give us a moment just to set things up here. Okay, so welcome. So we are having another Jakarta Tech Talk. Today we're here with Emily Jiang, and she's going to talk to us about MicroProfiles, so the current status and the future of MicroProfile. So thanks, Emily, for being here, hopefully, can someone give me a little note that you can hear us and you see us and everything is working as expected? Anyone in the chat, you can send us a quick message. Huh. Okay, thank you, Cesar. So I think we're good to go. So I will. Oh, thanks, Edwin. I will now hand it over to Emily, and let her talk about MicroProfile.
Thank you, Tanya. Let me share my screen. Share. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you can see my screen okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know we are around the globe. Thank you for coming. I'm Emily Jiang. I'm a Java champion. I work for IBM. I'm a Liberty architect for MicroProfile and CDI. So I spend most of my time on open source projects, MicroProfile and Open Liberty. I'm also the config.jsr code spec lead. So in this session, I'm going to talk about MicroProfile, the current and the future. So hopefully by the end of this talk, you can know up to date with what's going on in MicroProfile, and also towards the end I will talk a little bit how can you get involved and etc. And talk a little bit about the future. And some of you might be wondering, okay, a minute, why you are here to talk about MicroProfile? This is a Jakarta Tech Talk. Actually, MicroProfile is not part of Jakarta. However, MicroProfile and Jakarta.ee are very complementary to each other. Jakarta.ee plus MicroProfile equals amazingly powerful. So when you think about cloud native microservices, you should think about Jakarta.ee. You should think about MicroProfile. So hopefully we'll find what's in MicroProfile in the next an hour. So it's for the ones who do not know about MicroProfile, we spend a couple minutes to have a quick intro. MicroProfile is under Eclipse Foundation. It's an open source community. Originally, it was set up by IBM, Red Hat, Tommy Choi, Piara, LGC, and some others individuals. And soon the community growing very fast. And Oracle, Lightband, Microsoft, Java, and etc. And Cumulus.ee all joined. So we are a single community. So when we work together, we do not differentiate, okay, you are from IBM, you are from Red Hat. We work together to evolve ourselves, to evolve the programming model for doing cloud native microservices, to think about how can we simplify the programming model to make the Java developers' life a lot easier, just focus on the business logic. There's no reference implementation, which is different from Java EE. So because we do not want to differentiate the implementations, all the implementations are equal. We only publish API, TCK, and specs, Maven Central, or in the GitHub repository. And we have very frequent release. We are lightweight and iterative very fast. So it's so far there's many MicroProfile runtimes available for you. Like IBM has WebSphere Liberty, and also Open Liberty. Red Hat has a newly released serverless model framework called Quarkus. I also have Smallride and Songtail. Payara has a Payara, and Tommy Tribe has Tommy E, Cumulus EE, and Oracle has Halidon, and Hammer project is under Apache. So far we have like 8 brand new specifications together with 4 specifications we directly borrowed from Java EE. So this is the kind of the release pattern. So since October 2016, we have many releases. So each year we have sometimes 3, sometimes 2, and etc. We have releases. Latest release is MicroProfile 2.2, released last month, February. It has the fault tolerance, Open API, 1.1, Open Tracing 1.3, and RestReclined 1.2. And in the next like half an hour or 20 minutes or so, I will go through what's in the in the details. So as I mentioned earlier, the February release is MicroProfile 2.2. This is our 8th platform release. It has so far it has 21 component releases, means individual releases. So you can see there's like 4 specifications: CDI, JAX-RS, JSON-P, and JSON-B, directly borrowed from Java EE, or you can call it from jakarta.ee. And then top with the blue ones are all brand new, evolved in MicroProfile. So in the next few slides, I go through the what's in the MicroProfile 2.2 release. The first one is the fault tolerance 2.0. It has about 3 big functionalities included. The first one, we introduced a configuration functionality, which you can configure for tolerance interceptor priorities, so that you can control interceptor invocation orders when you have customer written interceptors. The second one is we want to go to reactive, so we have greater support for the completion stage. So if you use fault tolerance asynchronized, now you can return the completion stage to utilize the Java 8 completion stage functionality to go to reactive. The third one is we further clarify what's the invocation order if you use multiple fault tolerance annotations, such as if you use, in this example, use retry together with timeout. Will the timeout apply to each retries? So basically, we clearly specify, yes, each retries will have a timeout applied. So this is a kind of better example to demonstrate fault tolerance with reactive programming pattern. So you can use the new JAX-RS 2.1, the .RS to go to truly reactive, and then you can get the completion stage. And also, this is all unblocking. And when your completion stage return with exception, the retry will be fired. So basically what I want to say, you bear this in mind. And later on, I will talk a little bit more about reactive. So the theme here is MicroProfile is going reactive. Reactive is the talking point for all the cloud native applications. So the second bigger feature is the RestReclined 1.2. So the RestReclined 1.2 introduced about 4 big functionalities. The first one is the RestReclined itself. The client API can support fault tolerance annotations. So you can annotate a retry circuit breaker on the RestReclined interface. On the top right-hand corner, it means the RestReclined now can support connection timeout or read timeout. The middle one is, you can see now is when you register REST client, you can specify the base URI. Previously, the line with red underneath it doesn't exist, so you have to specify a config to be able to configure it. Now it's much better for the developers. You can directly specify the backend URL, and then during production, this can be easily overwritten. The bottom bit means now RestReclined can propagate the headers. Like the RestReclined previously cannot propagate the HTTP headers. So that makes using in the service mesh, for example, Istio circumstances is very, very very cumbersome, because you have to explicitly set the header param for the headers you want to propagate. Now is RestReclined 1.2, and will do that automatically for you. In the next few slides, I will quickly demonstrate and show you the quick code snippet. So the first one is you can specify the default base URI. So in here, so you are calling the backend is 9080, my base URI. The second one means when you register the RestReclined, you can use retry and get retry on this operation. Retry is a fault tolerance annotation. The third one is the header propagation. So you can even define the proper headers, which headers you want, and then you can say register client headers, and this one, when you call this one, is automatically propagate all these headers defined in here. So this is what I mentioned earlier about timeout. So you can specify connection timeout, and this 5 seconds, and read timeout. So how long you want to wait for the result, and etc. And then if you use the CDI, this is the first one, the programmatic way to create a RestReclined builder. The second one, if you want to use the auto-register RestReclined and also inject RestReclined, you can use the MicroProfile config directly configure the connect timeout and read timeout. So that's the RestReclined. The third one is the open tracing 1.3. So the open tracing, probably by far you would probably have guessed. The open tracing 1.3 is purely released because the RestReclined 1.2. So open tracing previously does not work with jack-size RestReclined. Basically, it's previously if you invoke, like the client invoke just as RestReclined, and then the RestReclined invoke another backend, you will, if you look at a trace, you have 2 traces and 2 spans. There's no correlation there. And now open tracing 1.3 on automatic propagator header basically is the span apparent ID. They are the same. So that's way you can correlate the the spans. So that is why you have one trace, two spans. This looks great to track your service invocation, considering is this service call this system service call into another service. It will be much easier to look at. Where the problem is, if there's a congestion and etc. Because all the spans are connected together, and then you can even work out which invocation takes the most time. So the fourth feature is OpenAPI 1.1. OpenAPI 1.1 is quite minor update. So is the first one is can generate some API for the attach method, and also is the RestReclined interface will be previous is not skipped, now it's skipped for API generation. So it's and also together with some other OS factory resolver is now a proper SPI artifact and etc. So you might be wondering, okay, is MicroProfile 2.2 was released in February properly? Normally it would take a long time for the implementation to catch up. If you are familiar with Java EE, normally it takes a couple years for the implementation to catch up. Probably the RI will be automatically released. However, for other implementation to catch up, it take a long time. In MicroProfile, and all of us working very actively, and look at this amazing release cadence here. We have a MicroProfile 2.2 released only mid-February, and now we already got Open Liberty 1903 implemented MicroProfile 2.2 for you to try. And also Suntail 2.4 has the implementation as well, and both of them and support Java 11. So you can go ahead to try it out. What I have described in the previous few slides, and plus some other features you are interested under MicroProfile. Okay, so this is kind of the quick overview about what has been released up to now under MicroProfile 2.2. After the MicroProfile 2.2 release, we also have a standalone release. Basically, is I mentioned earlier, MicroProfile goes reactive. So there's one specification led by James Roper from Leadband. So it's the reactive streams operators. I want to give you a quick intro about reactive stream operators. If you think about the stream in Java, so java.u2.stream, now it's kind of people started using Java 8 and etc. So it's a streamed off, and then you can build up or you can filter them. You can do the map and find operate on this stream. Similarly, however, in the Java.u2 stream is not reactive stream, is all blocking operations. In MicroProfile reactive stream, we have a direct a mimic what Java.u2 stream per se, but is reactive. So you can build up a stream similar as the Java.u2 stream. You can operate on it, and then you can run the stream, and then you can build up. It will give it will use a completion stage, and then give you a completion stage, and then you can build up your operations on top of it. So this is if I put this comparison here, is very easy for you if you know the stream already to understand the reactive streams. Basically, this is kind of reactive version of the Java.u2 stream. And as I mentioned earlier, in February, we did the MicroProfile 2.2 release. What's this year's release pattern? What's the future release cadence? Actually, we also discussed in the profile community is from now on, we want to release 3 times per year. We want to release in February, June, and October. So our next release will be June. The next, and also we discussed the other matter. In MicroProfile, we allow backward incompatible changes with very strong reasons. With the backward compatibilities have to introduce because of very strong reasons. So it's we try to control not to introduce backward compatibilities as you wish. However, if you must, yes, you are allowed to introduce backward incompatible changes. So in June this year, we plan to do a major release to incorporate some backward incompatible changes. So it's, I will go through it in the next few slides to talk a little bit more about what's coming. And for all the specs in progress. Some of them we make to June release, some of them we make to October release. There is another new spec called reactive messaging. Now you can see why I said MicroProfile goes reactive. So this is another specification. So this one is directly built upon reactive stream operators. So the basic logic for this reactive messaging is we want to introduce very simple to use annotations. We want to introduce annotations to say, okay, I'm the consumer. I will say, okay, at incoming, so I'm a consumer of this message from this stream. If I want to publish message, I will say at outgoing. I want to publish to this stream. Basically, this is a abstraction layer over messaging providers such as Kafka, MQTT, MQP, and etc. As you know, Kafka is quite powerful. However, the API SPIs is kind of is a bit daunting to get used to them. So that's why we come up with all these simplified annotations, and hopefully different implementation will choose their own favorite message provider, such as Kafka, MQP, or MQTT, and etc. So this is a new spec. So watch the space. If you want to get involved, please, is listening towards the end. So I will tell you how to get involved. Get involved. The other new spec is called context propagation. As I mentioned, constantly we are going reactive. The first level reactive is reactive programming. So the reactive programming, to put it simply, is completion stage, etc. Multi-threading. When you talk about multi-threading, you get a thread, etc. And then the second problem you are going to face is to keep the parent context. So that's why this context propagation was introduced to cope with how to propagate the context, how to propagate the for example security context, how to propagate a CDI context. So this is also give you a quick example here. You get executor. This is the MicroProfile executor, and then you can directly get to the thread from there, and then you can guarantee to have the context you wish to be propagated and propagated. The other existing, that's like the reactive messaging and also the context propagation is a brand new spec. And then we also making progress with on the existing specifications, such as a health check. When we talk about health check, you automatically think about Kubernetes. You know, in Kubernetes, you have a readiness and liveness check. This exactly was designed to work with Kubernetes infrastructure. In Kubernetes, we have liveness and readiness. However, currently in the health check, we only have one endpoint is /health, which is kind of limited when used in Kubernetes. So that's this is why we came up with a different feature called we want to split a health check into like two endpoints. One is liveness to use with Kubernetes liveness check. The other is readiness to use with the Kubernetes readiness probe. The other change in the health check is we change the payload a bit. So previously, currently the payload you see is outcome up, so which is quite odd. And in some other programming model, most used the payload is called status. So that is why we want to change the outcome to status to make sure the microservice design using MicroProfile can interact well with some other microservices written in different languages, for example, Node.js and etc. So the next existing specification metrics is also making some changes. So metrics is introduced some backward incompatible changes. So the current the metrics annotation counted, this is a counter can go up and down. Actually, is kind of very confusing. Now it's changed. So it's in the metrics tool, the counted can only go up. If you want to go down, you use a new concurrent gauge. The other bigger change is nicer change is we can reuse metrics name. So that way it make your Prometheus graph looks better. So you can reuse the name but use a different tag. The other spec is a MicroProfile config is also making good changes. So we want improve the way to do that to cope with the dynamic config changes. So we introduce a config accessor, which is kind of proxy to wrap around the value. So you can do a config.access if you want to work out myapp.port, which is integer, and then you can do a config.access, and you can say cache for 60 minutes, and then build up your config accessor. Similarly, you can do a myapp.port, and then it's a cache for 60 milliseconds. So I'm sorry I missed the is kind of equals there port config. This is previous is okay port config. The second one is I try to say differently. It's some another port config per se. One is supposed to be read host config. The other one is supposed to read port config. So it's if you want for this host and port, you want them goes hand in hand. How can you make sure they change at the same time and etc. So you know your URL is correct. So you can do a create a snapshot. You can do a config create a snapshot, and then that snapshot will be just a fixed value of the snapshot. You can always get your the host config by the time you take the snapshot and etc. And then the other couple changes is you are allowed to inject a null into the config. So the customer address, you can say, okay, if it doesn't exist, I inject a null into the customer address. Previously, I mentioned the dynamic config. So I programmatically do a config.access, create the config access, which is kind of the proxy. And then you can also use the injection. You can just say, okay, the URL, I want to cache for 3 milliseconds. And however, here you need to give it provider you wrap around the proxy, because the CDI is static. So you want the dynamic version, the value. So that way you have to wrap around you have to inject the provider here. So that's a quick overview of the config. And the other specification is MicroProfile service mesh. So I brought this up is in this service mesh specification, we would like to put a MicroProfile in the cloud infrastructure. So the MicroProfile is the cloud native programming model. We want to make sure this is the best programming model made for the cloud. So that's why we are conscious how well MicroProfile can work well with layer 7. For example, in the service mesh, can it work well with Istio? If Istio has some requirement, can MicroProfile help? So this is why we have this specification. We actively work on this specification and to make sure it's updated with the new MicroProfile specifications. For example, here, we demonstrated MicroProfile programming model in Istio and figured out actually RestReclined cannot propagate the headers in the downstream service. So that's why we talked to RestReclined, talked to Open Tracing, and then which is why both the specification was updated. The purely is because our service mesh architecture. So we would like to build the best breed programming model for service mesh. We want to take care of your cloud native application from the minute you are creating your application to the minute you are in production. So all the layers we are like considering how to make that your experience a lot simpler, a lot easier. So in the next change in our service mesh, we want to consume MicroProfile 2.2 to see whether the change put in the RestReclined and Open Tracing has fixed the problem, so that we can see the trace, the correlation or propagated well, and you can see the Istio, IAGA, and you can connect all the spans together. With that, I think I have gone through a quick bird's eye view about what's going on for the functionality point of view. Up to now, you are thinking, okay, you have all the nice goodies here. So where can I get started? How can I create my microservice to using MicroProfile? Luckily, we have a tool called MicroProfile Starter. So MicroProfile Starter is a great tool. I would like to give a big credit to Rudy in Peara, and who contributed an initial version of this one. He got in touch with me a while ago, maybe last year. I said, "Oh, okay, this is the kind of project I have. What do you think?" I loved it, and very quickly involved him in the community, and then is kind of we created this repo, and I also want to mention Cesar and Cam from Red Hat. We work together since later last year. We work on a weekly basis, and also I want to thank the Ryan from Tommy Tribe as well, and to do the design. So basically, we all put effort together and want to make sure all this microservice creation journey a lot simpler. And we created the microservice, and you can directly build it, choose the runtime you want, and get you started. And with this, I want to give you a quick demo of the MicroProfile Starter. Okay, we are doing well with the time. So this is start.microprofile.io here. So I can choose a version. Currently is MicroProfile 2.1. I know is Cesar has raised the issue, and we want to get MicroProfile 2.2 here, and also is here is the next one. We also want to get a Java 11 version in here as well. So it's stay tuned. Is this? So if I choose this one, and then you can see you have 4 runtime to choose from. So you pick your best runtime and go with it. My favorite, Open Liberty. So I can do a download. Okay. So I directly download it. So here it is. If I do a so now, so all the code being generated. If I cd to demo talk, you can see all the code being generated there. If I do a Maven clean install, so it will download the latest Open Liberty 1903, which is released this month. And then very soon, it will give me a URL. Okay, that's good. We're done. Now, if I go to target, you can see the jar there, right? So I can do a Java manage jar demo jar. I can start it. Now, if I go to the here, if it is done, you can see all these endpoints. So as I talked earlier, here the health check, we have a health check. So we have a check. See here currently is the outcome. So hopefully the health check 2.2 after 2.2 health check 2.0 is done in the here will become a status, and that, and also you have like go back. You have a time the endpoint. The request is used, so you just do that. And so basically you can demonstrate all different metrics and etc. And you can demonstrate Open API. So this is directly built on Swagger API. If you have known Swagger, you will know this one. So you have a description and also the schema and also the response is get. So this means like it's get at get, and then this is the method name. If I go back, with the Jakarta as endpoint, so it's just a hello world. So this is just like give you a bird's eye view of this starter. So basically, you can directly use a starter and then create a runtime, choose your own runtime, choose a version you want, and you can pick different specifications for your microservice and go with it. So earlier, I just showed you the MicroProfile 2.1. So, you know, I mentioned earlier is that there's a lot of runtimes, but some runtimes got different speed of implementation. Like MicroProfile 1.2, there's a lot more to choose from, like Oracle Halliday, Apache Tommy, and all these implementations for you as well. Okay, this is starter. The next release is I mentioned is MicroProfiles 3.0 is targeted for the June. So the tentatively date is the 5th June, I think. It hopefully it can include the metrics 2.0 health check, 2.0, etc. It's stay tuned.
Hey, Emily.
Yes. Can
Just
you hear me?
a quick question. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can hear you. So, considering that you're kind of, not too far off from the demo, there is a suggestion to, if you can show the source code generated by MicroProfile Starter.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me do that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay. So this is generator. So this is the source code here. So this is you see this jakarta resource, and here is injective value, which is a property, and this is the jakarta endpoint. This is the add path. This jakarta. So and then so this is all jakarta based. So this is the application path. That's why it's add data, etc. This is the kind of /hello I demonstrated earlier. So this is jakarta resource as well, and this is a health check. So health check I mentioned earlier. At the moment, we have one endpoint /health. I demoed earlier. So it has implement a health check, and then you can see it's a simple name, up and build. Obviously, this is one. It's just a start point for you. And when you really want to do your health check, you need to check. Okay, is my memory nearly running out? So that kind of thing. Is my database is not responding? So this is kind of logic you need to put in. And for the metrics here, and you can inject the metric. So this is directly from MicroProfile. So you can gather metrics for the method invocation time. You can do a time. Yeah. So these are the other one is gauge. So you can collect these methods as the different status, the gauge. And this is the fault tolerance. So you can do the fallback and timeout. So when you invoke this operation, you say, okay, I allow 500 millisecond. If you cannot return within 500 millisecond, I consider it's a failure. You can fall back. So this is specify which fallback you want to fall back to. So this method will automatically be called. This one is the GWT. So this one demonstrates actually you can inject the GWT, the claim, which is kind of directly on the GWT token. When you use the MicroProfile GWT, it's used together with the jakarta.ee security, so rules allowed. So basically, it's only allowed the roles configured when that's protected to invoke this operation. And then also you can inject a GWT token to inspect what's in the token itself. Because I choose OpenLiberty and my runtime, so you can see here, because I choose MicroProfile 2.1, so here server XML it says 2.1. So I can easily change it to 2.2 I can use all the great new features in the MicroProfile 2.2. And yeah, and also this is my config keys and etc. Okay, that's a quick overview about generated code. So you can directly import into your favorite IDE and to start editing and put in your business logic there.
Thanks, Emily.
You're welcome. Okay, so and nearly to the end, which is very important. I hope all of you, if you have not joined the MicroProfile Google group, please click on this join the MicroProfile Google group to join in the discussion, ask questions, contribute answers, contribute any thoughts, and we hit some like serious. We can operate all in the open. Which is like tomorrow, maybe I wake up and say, oh, I wonder what, how can we cope with this? I can easily just post a question. Somebody else, okay, yeah, that's a true problem, and this is maybe one of the possible solution we can fix it. So basically, we all like talk in public and trying to come up with the best solution for the problem. And if you, I mean, you are a user of MicroProfile, you want to write a blog about it, please log on to microprofile.io and start a contribute. So we welcome anybody to write blogs, and please get in touch and shout in the mailing list here, and to say, or directly you can directly create issues in the MicroProfile GitHub. Say I want to publish my blog and etc. So you are more than welcome to contribute in the blogs. So all the blogs are listed here. If you want to contribute into any project, directly click on the project and to find the ones that you want and get involved. Let me quickly show you something. So here is our MicroProfile is the top page. If you click a project, you can see all the projects. You just have a quick look. For example, oh, I want a fancy MicroProfile config. You can go there. You can chat on Gitter, so you can chat on Gitter, and then you can see, oh, I wonder what's in the code. Okay, that's is a better way to do is click on here and directly go to GitHub, and then you can chat on Gitter. There's so many ways to get into the community and start a contribute. The other thing I also want to mention is if you are a customer, if you are customer of MicroProfile, you are using it for production, we would love you to directly to put your name in the MicroProfile adoptions. So far, we have collected about 10 customers so far. I know there's some bigger customers like bankers and also some insurance company, etc. Maybe they don't wish to share their name, but I think we don't ask to share your contact details per se. You just put your website there. That's good enough. Or even if you are kind of consultant, if you like Adam, I know he uses MicroProfile a lot. It's like in the freely share his details here, Adam Bin. So it's basically what I want to say. If you want to get involved, please join the mailing list. If you want to contribute and to some project, you browse the projects and directly go to their GitHub and also chat on Gitter. Also, we have the MicroProfile calendar. You can find all the meetings in this calendar. And we also have a bi-weekly MicroProfile get-together. So we discuss how to evolve this community. So which is on Tuesday. So it's please get involved. That bring me to the final page here. So final page, there's great links here about MicroProfile and also the Start MicroProfile. Also, I want to mention Open Liberty is implementation of MicroProfile. I want to mention the Open Liberty IO guide. If you want to get, if you want to learn MicroProfile, but don't know where to start, we have Open Liberty guide here. If you just search MicroProfile, if I can type, you can see a lot of guides will come up. So it's every MicroProfile specification has been developed so far. Is a guide for it. We even have the Istio guide. I have Docker Kubernetes guide, and etc. So for example, here it teach you how to use fault tolerance, for example, and this one is the open tracing. So with that, that's all I have for this session. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, please, we're welcoming questions. And Cesar, thanks for helping out. Oh, there is Advin. Thanks, Emily. So it was really, really helpful. So you will see all the comments afterwards, Emily, but I'm super happy that we're getting positive feedbacks.
Great. Thank you again for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here because I know I'm with all the MicroProfile community. All of us truly believe in open source, and we want to come together to evolve the best programming model for doing cloud native microservices.
Okay, so if no questions, thank you so much. Of course, the live stream is recorded and will be available off of the YouTube. And we'll be in touch next month. We have another scheduled Tech Talk, so we're super excited to talk to you again shortly. Oh, hold on, one question. Did I understand correctly that Service Mesh is going to be a spec?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Service Mesh, basically we prototype, we are trying to experiment and try out all the MicroProfile specifications and write the best practices in the Service Mesh spec. Once we have done this, finish this journey, we would like to publish the specification. However, now you can directly check it out and build follow the instruction there and to use MicroProfile in the Service Mesh. We have a detailed instruction. So MicroProfile dash service dash mesh. Let me go. Let me demo it. Let me use the final few minutes. This one is a hold all the spec, and mainly we do spec. So far, we haven't found a need to evolve any API and etc. However, is all the specs in here. We are still trying to work more, and we have the service mesh, the service A. So we have 2 microservices. So you can try it out, all the instruction and etc. You can run it in your for this one is based on Istio, run in your service mesh set up. So we have 2 services. You can just follow the instruction here and you can directly get them deployed to your Istio environment. Yeah, so back to the story, and yes, when we kind of finish off the experiment, we would like to maybe publish the specification. Basically, that's mainly the best practices about how to use the service, how to use a MicroProfile in the service mesh. Also, I wrote a blog under Eclipse newsletter service mesh. So here also under jakarta.ee as well. So this is this one is the kind of longer version, detailed version about like a MicroProfile with a service mesh. So if you search MicroProfile on eSteel, you will get here. You either get an Eclipse newsletter or get a jakarta.ee. They are identical because this one directly take from the article published under Eclipse newsletter. Okay.
Okay, well, this is great. Thanks again, Emily, and thanks everyone for dialing in, and we will talk again next month.
Great. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.